Of course. Here's a 500-word story based on your topic. Morning Magic. Sam's Secrets to Living Past 90. At 91 years old, Sam Bennett was the oldest and liveliest resident of Maplewood Village. Every morning, he greeted the day with a grin and a bounce in his step that could rival people half his age. When asked about the secret to his longevity, Sam would always chuckle and say, "It's the mornings that matter most." Sam lived by a set of 8 simple morning habits, a routine he'd perfected over the decades. He loved to share them with anyone willing to listen, believing they were the true reason he had made it past 90 with a clear mind and strong body. The first habit was waking up early, no matter the season. Sam believed the early morning air was fresher and more energizing. "Catch the first light, and you'll catch a longer life," he'd say. The second habit was drinking a full glass of water right after waking. Rehydrating his body, he said, helped him feel instantly alert and ready for the day. The third was stepping outside for 5 minutes, even if it was just onto his porch. The natural light helped set his internal clock and boosted his mood before breakfast. The fourth habit, which Sam always emphasized, took just 30 seconds, expressing gratitude. Every morning, before touching his phone or starting chores, Sam would close his eyes and list 3 things he was thankful for, big or small. 30 seconds of gratitude will add 30 years to your life, he joked, but deep down he believed it. This simple ritual kept his heart light and his spirit resilient. The fifth habit was doing light stretching. Sam would stretch his arms, legs, and back gently for about 5 minutes. Nothing extreme, just enough to wake up his muscles and keep his joints flexible. Next, Sam made sure to eat a nutritious breakfast. A bowl of oatmeal with nuts and berries, sometimes a hard-boiled egg, something simple but packed with nutrients. "Fuel your body right, and it'll keep running smooth," he said. The seventh habit was mental exercise. Sam always spent 10 minutes doing a crossword puzzle, reading a few pages of a new book, or writing a few lines in his journal. "Keep your mind moving, and it won't freeze up on you," he often reminded the younger residents. And finally, the eighth habit was setting one positive intention for the day. Whether it was be patient, help someone, or learn something new, Sam believed having a guiding thought made each day more meaningful. When a young journalist came to interview Sam for the local paper, she asked if he ever missed a day. Sam grinned and said, "Maybe once or twice back in the 60s. As the sun rose higher over Maplewood Village, Sam continued his morning walk, waving to neighbors, his heart full of gratitude, his mind sharp, and his body strong. The secret, he knew, wasn't magic. It was simply choosing, every morning, to invest in life. Would you also like me to write a 2-sentence version you can turn into a voiceover? Of course. Here's another 500-word paragraph to continue Sam's story. Sam's influence began to ripple beyond Maplewood Village. After the article about him was published, curious people from nearby towns started visiting, eager to meet the man who had seemingly unlocked the secret to aging gracefully. Sam welcomed them all with a smile, inviting them to join him on his morning porch routine. Soon, his front yard became a gathering place at sunrise. A small group would trickle in, stretching, sipping water, jotting down notes of gratitude, and sharing positive intentions. Some were in their 60s, looking for guidance. Others were barely 30, but inspired to start early. Sam would watch them with a quiet pride, knowing that small habits, once seeded, could grow into lifelong changes. One morning, A woman named Lily approached Sam after the session. She was 62, had just retired, and admitted she felt lost without the structure of her working life. "I'm scared of getting old and weak," she said, her voice barely a whisper. Sam nodded, remembering how he, too, had once felt adrift after retiring. He sat her down and told her gently, "Aging isn't something that happens to you. It's something you shape, morning by morning." He encouraged her to build her own version of the morning eight, to tweak it, to own it, to let it anchor her days. Inspired by their conversation, Lily began attending every morning. Over time, she smiled more, stood taller, and seemed to regain a spark in her eyes. She even started helping others in the group, leading the light stretching when Sam wanted a break. Watching her transformation became a highlight of Sam's days. In fact, the Little Sunrise group continued to grow. They nicknamed themselves the Morning Garden because, as one member joked, we're all just planting seeds for a better life. They even made a colorful banner that hung from Sam's porch. Gratitude, growth, grit. The 3 Gs Sam often spoke about. Once a month, they hosted a big breakfast potluck after the morning ritual, bringing homemade granola, fresh fruit, herbal teas, and whole grain muffins. The laughter, the sharing, and the positive energy were contagious. People started saying that Maplewood Village had become a place not just to retire, but to truly live. For Sam, this unexpected community was the greatest gift of all. He had never set out to be a teacher or a leader. He just wanted to keep moving, keep appreciating, and keep loving life for as long as he could. But by living with intention, he had created something bigger than himself. A living, breathing testament to the power of small daily choices. One morning, as the sun broke over the horizon, Sam stood quietly by his porch rail, watching the group stretch and chat. His heart swelled with a feeling he couldn't quite name, a mix of pride, peace, and profound gratitude. He closed his eyes for a moment and smiled. Maybe the real secret to living past 90 wasn't just in the habits themselves. Maybe it was in sharing them, growing together, and waking up each day knowing you were part of something beautiful. Would you like me to help you combine this into a full, ready-to-publish story format too? Of course. Here's another 200-word paragraph to continue Sam's story. As seasons changed, the morning garden flourished. New faces kept joining, each bringing fresh energy and stories to the group. Some mornings were chilly, with everyone bundled in sweaters and scarves, holding steaming cups of tea. Other days were warm and golden, with laughter ringing across Sam's yard as they stretched under the clear sky. Sam treasured each day, but he especially loved how the mornings had become more than a routine. They were a reminder that connection was just as important as hydration, movement, and gratitude. One crisp autumn morning, after leading his group in a round of stretches, Sam paused and looked around. People who once arrived shy and uncertain now laughed easily with new friends. They shared book recommendations, travel dreams, and personal victories, large and small. Sam realized that while his habits had kept his body and mind strong, it was these bonds, built slowly, morning after morning, that truly nourished his soul. No one could stop time, he thought, but you could certainly make it beautiful. And as long as he had a sunrise, a thankful heart, and good company, Sam knew he was living exactly the life he had always dreamed of. Would you also like me to create a final, polished version that combines all these pieces into one story?